2021. And I recorded a couple of things both on Sunday and on Monday that I was thinking about putting up, but it ended up, the recording on Sunday, which I kind of liked what I said, ended up being, the audio was very poor quality. So I decided I'm not gonna keep reuse that. And the one yesterday, when I tried to recreate it, it just didn't work. I wasn't uh, I wasn't in that frame of mind anymore. But anyway, get my little ugly. That was a gnat. No, that was a fruit fly, not a gnat. Gnats are smaller. Anyway, the idea was I've been trying to find ways to make use of my secondary blog, Iterations of Zero. Last week, I initially posted the various videos of me um, playing guitar and singing, most of which cut off the guitar, or a lot of it anyway. And I've been sharing some of those now on YouTube and trying to get used to seeing my ugly mug on the videos, which is not easy, but may, hopefully, encourage me to try to, hang on, let me adjust this, to try to get myself in better shape. Sorry. In my notepad function on my, in my note function that is on my smartphone, I have a couple of different memo files full of just jotted down ideas of what I call article ideas. And this is rolled over from at least 2 or 3 previous smartphones that have just been collecting them. And some of them I've done the articles and I've written them up and put them up on Iterations of Zero. And I feel good about them. I think they're pretty decent and all that. But trying to find the time to do these articles when I'm already, during the week, I wake up early because I can't not wake up early. And since traffic is terrible too close to the time of business starting, I come into work since I'm up and I write. And then in the leftover time, I fiddle around with the guitar. That's some of the stuff I recorded last week. And I've occasionally even tried to do just audio recordings for Iterations of Zero. The idea being making it sort of some kind of podcast or other. Those seem to be pretty popular. But the problem with that is I don't get the impression that anybody listens to them. I'm not sure how many people read the articles. There's probably more people who read them than listen to the posts. I've not gotten any feedback on most of them, so it's hard to tell. Well, you see an awful lot of YouTube channels where basically they're people talking about stuff, talking to the camera. Now, many of them will throw in some special effects things, words up here, words up here, words down along here, little video effects and so on. And they enhance the experience, I guess. Now, as somebody who writes mainly as my creative outlet or whatever you want to call it, I do get frustrated. In written language, I always maintain written language is the lifeblood of civilization. I think that's still accurate. Computer language is written language. So we wouldn't have these videos and so forth without the encoding, the ability to encode ideas and instructions and various things in symbolic form that is effectively digital, but which conveys potentially thoughts directly from one mind to another, well, indirectly, but obviously, but almost directly from one mind to another is pretty impressive. And the storage costs are low. If one were to transcribe what I've said here, the file size would be minuscule compared to the video size. Nevertheless, people like video. And I like videos, I have to admit. I like watching videos of people talking about ideas. Some of my favorite channels are like PBS Space Time and 60 Symbols and Number File and periodic videos and deep sky videos. A lot of those are Brady Heron's channels. His stuff is amazing. I love it. But also SciShow, their channels, and all that other stuff. They're more, SciShow and PBS Space Time are more special effects intensive, whereas Brady's stuff is almost, as well, he's a journalist, I guess, and so his stuff is almost more journalistic. He's interviewing people, and they're talking about stuff, and he's capturing them talking about stuff. They add some cartoons and illustrations and stuff in between here and there, but the real stuff is, you know, Philip Moriarty, and Michael Merrifield, and all those guys, uh, and Professor Grimes, and all those guys talking about their subject matter that they get so excited about. It's wonderful. Sometimes the Number File has that big sheet of butcher paper that they'll write stuff on. That's kind of cool. Anyway, but there's a lot of stuff like that. I like it. Really, when in short form, it wouldn't take much longer than to absorb, that is, than reading a short article, and has the potential to reach more people. So what I was thinking of doing was maybe going through those ideas, article ideas that I have, and instead of writing an article about them, and which means finding a time to set aside from my writing of my fiction, which is what I want to make my primary writing task, and going to write them and edit them and then post them. And it's a nice idea, but I just never seem to end up doing it so far. So instead, maybe what I can do is do some just impromptu talking about them. It can even be a sort of therapy, if you will, and be forced to look at my own face when I edit the videos, so I can tell myself, you need to eat less, and get back into exercising regularly, even if it hurts. Anyway, so that's a really meandering way of getting to my point, which is to say that I think what I'm going to do is start on a semi-regular basis doing videos based on some article ideas that I have. So for instance, let me see here. This may not be good TV, but okay, so for instance, more article ideas. The intolerable valley comparable to the uncanny one, a space in which a person, group, or species is smart enough to be powerful and to have great effects, but not smart enough to regulate themselves successfully. The idea that humans might be in that intolerable valley. Given the fragmented nature of the human brain and mind, maybe using "their" to refer to individuals isn't such a bad thing. I don't like common sense. I prefer good sense. That's something I could go off on for a while. Use "yet" instead of "not" and "never." That's a bit of a pet peeve. Counter anti-vax arguments. Other people are doing that with more patience and better than I probably would. The false idea of doing no harm is being fulfilled by doing nothing. It's kind of interesting. Why don't humans choose to spay and neuter ourselves more often? That's an interesting question. I need to get into that one. Maybe scientists should agree to publish a study before they actually do the study. Maybe they should pre-publish a statement about methods and planned testing to eliminate publication bias. Something to think about. Anyway, so these are the sorts of things that I've thought about. And so I think it might be interesting to do that. And if anyone actually does watch this, because I'm planning on editing first, obviously, and then posting this video on YouTube to share it through Iterations of Zero. Doing it that way because the storage space available on YouTube is much greater than the storage that I have available for my account in WordPress. And videos take up a lot of space. YouTube, that's what they do, so they have lots of space. WordPress, obviously, is more about writing, but they've had to branch out because it's a competitive market. Anyway, the point I'm going to make is I'm going to make the videos, I'm going to post them on YouTube and share them on Iterations of Zero. And I'd love to get your feedback on it. If you have any suggestions about topics to cover, or if you, any ones that I mentioned before, you might think, oh, talk about that. What are the odds? Tell me in the comments. Like, subscribe, click on the bell, all the things that video people on YouTube always say. Because that's what you're supposed to say. Because you're supposed to want more subscribers and more likes. And even though I wrote a song about the pitfalls of this, I want it to. Thank you. Like and subscribe.